And now we have to go back. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Everybody loves Raymond 360 Live. Let me go back to this. Go live. Hit that. Did that work? Yes, so exciting when everything works. Okay, here we go. I'm on the road, everybody. Tom Caltabiano here. Everybody loves Raymond 360 Live, talking about all things. Everybody loves Raymond. Your favorite show, or one of your favorite shows, or a show that you sometimes enjoy. How am I sounding, everybody? I am not at my studio. I am on the road. How's the hair look? Okay, yeah, it's not bad today. Let's say hello to some people. Hello, Mona. Hello, yes. Hello, Paula. Hello, Kim. Hello, Susan. Stompanato. I was worried because I've been trying to snack, as we know. We're getting very close to posting our ratings, the canister can. I don't have the canister with me. And I was worried that I didn't have a snack with me, but I found this, which it's just comedically, it's a good name. Okay, let's go here and then back off. Yeah, too much light. A stroop waffle, which I believe is Dutch. Amsterdam. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys with computers in front of you. I don't have everything in my fingers reach today, but I believe yes, it is Dutch. Okay, Stroopwafel, a perfect comedy name since what was the thing that we had? The Ruger, the Ruger wafer thin, which goes all the way back to 1987 or something like that, 85, whenever they started. The Stroopwafel, this one goes back to 1904. That's before some of you were born. So hopefully I will be able to try it later if I don't run out of time. Let's see. Let me catch up here. Yes. Hello, Bob. Aloha. Hello, Paul. Hello, Annabelle. Hello, everybody. Hello from Marshfield, Massachusetts. Hi, Demetra Kiplinger. I absolutely love the show. Watch it every time it's on. Now, it's on a lot. That could take up your entire life, watching it every time it's on, but I do appreciate it. Thank you, Maxine. Thank you, everybody. Good. Sounding good. Turning this down a little bit so I don't sound blown out. Okay, a couple things to share. I shared for the first time ever the clip of me on stage in the audience, Raymond off stage. Raymond on the stage floor, we call it. So on the floor, if you guys were visiting a set and you think you know somebody or you're a fancy schmancy person, you could say, hey, do you mind if I go on the floor? Okay. And if you don't know that show business term, people are going to think, why would you lay on the floor? But can I go on the floor? That is the stage floor. The stage floor is, can I be on the floor? And sometimes if it's a super fancy show and you're like, I'm going to go visit, and I know Tom Caltabiano and he works on the show, and they go, yeah, you can't be on the floor. You have to be in the bleachers. Okay. So I'm in the bleachers. Raymond's on the floor, and he says to me, hey, Norm Macdonald's in the audience. And I had just, who knows when, gone into the audience to talk to the audience. And again, what I did on the show was I was a writer, but Mark Sweet, who's the world's greatest warm-up guy, I would go into the audience and give him a chance to go visit the men's room if he needed, or just have a break from talking. Now, here I'm chatting with you guys. I feel it more like a conversation, but I'm talking for almost an hour straight when I don't have a guest. And so Mark would sometimes have to talk for 4 hours with a break when we film. So that's what I was doing in the audience. Ray points out Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald was filming a show near us. It might have been a stage next to us, but he was visiting. I don't even remember. I remember him visiting because I had hosted the Late Late Show after David Letterman, and I did a really good job. I'm saying that. I felt I did a good job. That's what I'm saying, not as a bragger. But at this point, when I shared that video, I knew that I didn't get the spot, which went to Craig Ferguson. Norm Macdonald came up to me afterwards. He was taking pictures, and I don't know who he was with. He was with a young boy, so I don't know. I don't know if he has a son. I'm not sure at all. And he was very complimentary. And at that point, to me, about my appearance hosting the Late Late Show, and I said, "Oh, thanks." He goes, "Yeah, you're really good." I said, "Oh, thanks." But at that point, it's kind of bittersweet because I don't care how good I was, I did not get the job. But he kept on going on, and it was very, very nice. That's what I remember of that. I don't remember him being in the audience. But that little clip, keep in mind here, people, that is 20 years old. So I've not seen that clip. My editor, friend / cameraman, everything, Cheyenne Pesco, he shot that footage. So a lot of this footage I am seeing for the first time, even though I was there, I didn't see the camera footage. So that little clip, that 1 minute and 30 second, whatever that clip is, that is a little portion of a 1 hour video, which is a little portion of the over 200 tapes that I have. And those 200 tapes, many of them that I have never seen, are about to get digitized, including, I think I've mentioned, I gave a tour of the stage. It was the end of season 9, and I walked around with Cheyenne, and I went through every nook and cranny of that stage. So when you guys will go, what is back there by the washing machine? What is back there here? To the best of my recollection, I went to all of those places. I went into Ray and Deborah's little cubby hole where Ray once hid with the washer and dryer. And I had Cheyenne point the camera up and point down and point all around. The perspective here went into all the departments. So that, hold on, folks. I don't have my traditional mug. I have what's known as generic mug number 7. All right, but I'm drinking tea. I'm drinking Trader Joe's English breakfast tea. It's the only tea that I could find. Okay, so all of those tapes are about to get digitized, and there is gold in those tapes, everybody. There is gold because I'm excited to see them, and I'm really excited to share them with you guys. Now, I still have to do, unfortunately, because people still take my photos, and they will, excuse me, they'll take these videotapes also. So I have to put what's known as a bug in it. It's just a watermark so that we know where it's from. But what other footage? So I have some footage on that I've looked at. I have footage of us in the writer's room. This is just 4 tapes that I had digitized. I have all this footage from Pat's Secret. I have the finale, the last speeches that Ray and Phil gave, the curtain call of the final episode. Inside the writer's room, we had to do a caricature. I've held that up for you guys. There's a caricature of all the writers. I'm touching my head because in this tape, which I can't remember shooting, I had to, when Phil Rosenthal was not in the writer's room, film all the writers from every different angle so the caricaturist could see everybody's the shape of their head, how they looked, how their positions, etc. So I have that little tape. Then I have footage of Aaron Shore and I watching the Young Girl episode from up in the bleachers. So you're seeing what it was like to be in the bleachers and watch the playback of an episode. And this, for those of you that are new to the channel, Tom Caltabiano here, writer on Rose Raymond. For those of you that have not heard this before, we would play for the live studio audience for the first time ever an episode that they have never seen and America has never seen. And sometimes it was still a rough cut, meaning Phil and Ray still had to do some tweaks and color correction had to happen and audio correction, audio mixing They call it had to happen. So I have footage of that. The entire episode. You see the monitors and you hear the in-studio audience laughing. And then there's footage of Ray introducing the cast. That's just, like I said, 4 of the over 200 tapes that I have to digitize in hopes of finding gold that would be used on the TV special, which we hope could be coming up. All right, let's take a break and look at some comments here. I don't have my second screen where I could put up Instagram. So let's do this. I'm not checking my, okay, Patty Heaton. Okay, so now I do live. I gotta turn the volume down. And I might not be able to check Instagram, folks. Let's see, how can I do that? Let me try and get out of, by the way, for those of you, I appreciate all of you who have been hanging with me for so long. Okay, let's go here. Let's sign in as this, and then we try and go to Everose Raymond live from here. So usually I'm able to, actually I could bounce back and forth. Let me try this before I abandon this plan. And okay, Everose Raymond is live. Yes, here we go. Okay, now look, I can watch, okay, you can't really see, that's a reflection. All right, it's just catching up. Here we go. We'll see what comes up with that. Let's catch up on some comments here, scrolling down. Okay. Graham, hello, Graham. That's a long one. Let me start off slowly. Hi from Melbourne. Good day. Isabella, it's early in the morning there, correct? I don't know what you guys do there. Hello. Hello, sorry, my camera's way up high and my screen is way down low. That's why I have to do this. Hello from New Jersey. Where? Joanne, where in New Jersey are you from? You can't just drop that to somebody who's from New Jersey. Hello, Karen. Are they like a chewy wafer? Oh, we're already talking about the stroopwafel. Comedically, I will describe them later. I'm going to keep you waiting. Hello, Susan. Are the best sitting atop a warm drink to soften them? Yes. That is a technique. We will get to that technique. Hi, Henry. How's the stand-up comedy career going? Guest laughed at a gas station. Oh, Henry. Okay, that's an inside clip. Yes, Paul. The clip you saw on Instagram. Very good. Hello, Gil. My trusted friend Gil, who is one of the few people who's held the canister in real life. Talk about why Deborah is always hitting Ray, sometimes injuring him. Has he? Yeah, she's an abusive, she's a hitter. Hi there. I've spoken to you a few times on the forum. Okay, Graham, I hope this goes well because I'm bringing up your comment and you never know. There's trusted friends who have been here for 5 years and you have asked some very good questions. You've always given me great answers. One thing I've noticed is that you refer to some of the episodes as funny, very funny, and sometimes hilarious, and I don't mean this sound in any creepy way, but I honestly think that every episode is hilarious. How do you make the judgment? Is it just your personal view, or is it general consensus among the writers? So Graham, that is my excellent, Graham, excellent. So when you say in a creepy way, you're saying, hey, I don't mean to sound creepy, but I love every episode, right? That's what you're saying. So let's say for Everose Raymond, like very few other shows, sorry, I have to drink more tea. It's not as good as my British teas, I'm going to be honest. I can't lose my voice for this. That would be terrible. That's a great question. Okay. So for me personally, I'm only giving you my personal opinion, and I know what the shared consensus is when the episode came out. I was just reading somebody, and forgive me, I don't remember who posted it, but they were talking about their 91-year-old mother loving the Cruising with Marie episode. That's their favorite episode. Now, Cruising with Marie was not one of our funnier episodes at the time in our minds in the room. Keep in mind that these were all people in their 30s and, That's their perspective. 30-year-old guys and girls, the thought of having to spend time with your mother on a cruise ship is not the richest fertile ground. So the episode of Baggage, where they fight over the baggage, the episode of She Ate It, the fly eating episode, these are just downright unbelievably hysterical. So I feel like there's 210 episodes, and I feel like I constantly reference 30 of them, meaning there's so many other ones that I haven't been reaching into to discuss. So the opinion is mine, influenced by the writers in the writers' room. I know, for example, that people don't like the janitor episode and the annoying kid episode. That gets mentioned all the time. So job well done by Lou Schneider writing the annoying kid, because that kid was really annoying and he had to deal with that in real life. And if you had a really annoying kid, you were going to enjoy that episode. But is that a fun episode to watch over and over again where you see it? I don't know. So there is, I would say this, much like any movie and anything that I say to anybody about any, when I say, what's your favorite movie or what are 5 of your favorite movies? You can be a snob and you can be like, well, of course, Citizen Kane. It's like, I don't know. How many people have seen Citizen Kane? What movie affected you? So what episode do you respond to? That's really, to me, the most important thing. Would you, in a survey of people, say that more people like the fly eating episode than the cruising with Marie episode, or think they're funnier? And does it have to be funny? Does it have to be the funniest episode if it touches some emotional, resonates with something emotional with you? So excellent question, Graham. You moved to the top of the pile, up there with Gil and Paula, and of course Karen and Donnell, in trusted people I can just pop up and not worry about. They are crispy. Oh, thank you, Paula. You're saving me from having to struggle through eating a stroopwafel. By the way, is this going to be my most popular portion of the lives that I've been doing? All of this inside knowledge research replaced by me eating one cookie in the significance. Okay, let me bring up a couple of more comments here as I take a breath. Okay, loved and loved the final episode. That's great, Ellen. Again, another controversial episode, somewhat. Okay, ciao, Joe. Loving the new studio. Yeah, so this is an office space that I'm in an undisclosed location. I've had that discussion with people. Do I lose the black backdrop and do I build a set where you can see some of the artifacts from the show behind me, and it feels a little more comfortable? And it feels a little bit more welcoming than the blue backdrop. The blue backdrop, originally, it made it just so it's me talking and it's blue and it pops and it separates it. So we'll put that out for a vote. Maybe we can group design the studio space that I want to bring to you. So it's a very, it's worth doing because there is a chance of getting maybe a sponsor or something like that. Let's see. I just sent you a message before on Instagram about Patty. Okay, thank you. Okay, now here, see, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to read this. Let me do this. Let me go through some of these questions. Hi, everybody. For those of you just joining, Tom Caltabiano here, writer on Arrows Raymond. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. It's like seeing old friends now after so long. Miss the beginning. Are you away? I always have trouble finding the beginning of your broadcast. Hi, Janet. Yes, luckily you can watch it again, over again. Hi, Deb from New Jersey, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Phillipsburg. Let me see. Phillipsburg is, do you take 80 west and then drop off a little bit and head towards the Gap? Am I kind of close? Hi, Tom from Nipa, N. So, Anne, do you mean Napa? Is there a place called Nipa? Hudson Valley, New York, Rockland County. Hi, Loretta. Yes, where the infamous statue resides. Yes. Tom, is the Greenberg, okay, hi, Linda. Oddball question for you. Tom, is the Greenberg that filmed Ray's T-ball meltdown actually Robert's ill-fated Dr. Greenberg? Great question. I don't know, because I heard Dr. Greenberg mentioned in another thing, another episode, and I said, "Oh, foreshadowing? I don't know." So again, this has happened, everybody. I got to remember the camera's way up here. The show was written over 9 years. So sometimes you're watching it in 1 month, you're watching 9 years. So something that was somebody, what am I trying to say? If we existed now, where you can have AI comb through every single episode and figure out everything and do it at the touch of a button, I'm sure that any of the very few mistakes that we made would have been mitigated, eliminated, not happened. Because someone would be like, "Hey, when did we mention Dr. Greenberg?" Or "When did we mention Dr. Hubley?" etc. So I don't know. And also, sometimes you're writing an episode and that's it. It's a complete episode in season 2, episode 7. And then episode 8, you're doing another episode. And I don't know, you could call it laziness, but someone would have to go back and physically find out what those mentions were. So excellent question. I will have to try and find out. Hello, Toronto. Okay, so I have to look way down here again, folks. I love The Annoying Kid. The video keeps shaking. Let me see. Like that? I love the janitor episode. Okay. I love The Annoying Kid. We knew a family like that with a special child. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. The toaster episode, a very funny one. Wasn't there an episode where Robert was dating that girl who ate flies and he thought she was a frog? Well, thanks for the, why was the final episode controversial? Ellen, here we go. Ellen, the final episode was controversial because people wanted a Big Bang, not Big Bang TV show. They wanted a more of a special event. So Phil Rosenthal's idea was like, let's make it a normal episode. And he succeeded in spades because a lot of times people write and they say, "Hey, what was the final episode? I think I missed it." And so then people are like, "Oh, okay, Ray goes in the hospital now and almost dies." The significance of that is he couldn't go in the hospital and almost die in season 3. And people would think, "Oh my gosh, he might really die." But the final episode, they're like, "We don't really need Raymond anymore. Let's get rid of him." So that's a possibility. Hello, Gil. Gil! In Rome, I visited the Spanish Steps today and thought of Ever's Raymond cast and crew while filming there. Yes, post your pictures, Gil. I haven't been online very much. So congratulations. Okay. So, okay. Here we go. Wow. Carol, this is a long one. Stroopwafel. I was in a locally owned pharmacy a few days ago. As I was standing in line, I saw some snacks off to the side. One was a 2-pack of stroopwafel from the Netherlands, waffle crisp filled with caramel. I bought a pack and very good softening coffee. I was thinking of you at the time, and I can't believe it is the cookie of the week. Yes, of the eek is even funnier. Okay, wow. Wow, so many comments to catch up on. Okay, let's see. This, hi Joe. I love the charm of the blue bed sheet looking of ELR, the low budget. Yeah, it's actually, that's funny. Oh, sorry. Let me keep reading, Joe, because for those of you listening only, you're like, "Tom, you cut off the comment." And what you can't see is I'm bringing them up on the feed on StreamYard. I love the charm of the blue sheet look of the ELR 360 bed sheet look. That's the funny one. Low budget is the best budget. Save the cash and buy more cookies. Yes. Yeah, it's actually a very expensive backdrop. When I say very expensive, in the scheme of backdrops, I'm going to try that. There's a deeper blue color one. All right, we're going to take a vote on that, Joe. I appreciate the humor. Let's see this. Northeast Pennsylvania, hi, and wow, so many. I'm not your mom, but I think that honey with your tea would help your voice. Yes, Ellen. You know, Ellen, it's funny that you bring it up here. Let me go back to your comment. I was telling the story recently. My friend was very sick, not sick as in dying, but sick as in the flu or something. And she said, "Hey, what have you done?" And I said, some of my listeners, Gil, etc., have recommended honey. And I thought, well, that seems like a waste of time. And then when I think I was coughing for 6 months, I decided to start trying honey, a tablespoon of honey before I went live. And lo and behold, they were right. I did not apologize because I stand firmly by my ignorance. So yes, I think that is a good idea. Hi, Maureen. Originally New Milford, New Jersey. Okay. Yes. Very good. Um, Suffern, New York. Okay. A lot of people. Um, oh, thank you, Paul. You subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yes, everybody. We're starting to produce. Um, we're starting to produce a lot more stuff now, and we're getting a lot more followers. Kim. Hi, Kim. Not so much controversial as it was polarizing. Just as many people loved it as hated it. I personally thought it was a good finale. Yeah, I mean, what Phil was trying to stress was family. Your family. It's all about family. That's what Phil wants to stress in this reunion show. Hi, Maria from Great Falls, Montana. Okay, we'll have to put pins. I'm gonna put. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a map of pins. For everybody that is our viewer. That would be good. Hi, Brucey Jones. You do kind of reference the same episodes a lot, but those are probably people's favorites, so it makes sense. Yes, thank you. Yes, that is right, but I feel woefully bad. Teresa, you saw Jonathan Rumi from The Chosen on Jimmy Fallon, and he did an unbelievable impression of Ray Romano. Was that recently? That's a really great thing. So Teresa, my friend, I'm visiting a friend of mine. He's doing a movie in a town called Chicago. He's going to be there through July. I'm going to send him to Tefano's, I think, if he has time, and he's into food. So I'll give you a heads up. That probably won't be till May or June, but I will let you know. That would be good. Hi, Henry. Stand-up wasn't for me. I joined a comedy troupe named Closed for remodeling, but nobody came to our shows. Funny, funny, funny. Also, it's hard to tell. Keep this in mind, people. When you're doing comedy and people don't know everything about you, sometimes your subtle humor could be lost. I did that. I made a joke the other day with some new people because there were some people feuding in this group, and I didn't know any of the history of the feuding. And I said, "Oh, myself and Fernando, we've put our differences aside." And they stared at me and Fernando, and they're like, "Oh, that's good." And I realized they have no clue whether that was true or not because they don't know enough about me. So that joke. So Henry, was it really a closed? Whatever it was, that would be a funny joke. Hi, Graham again. Graham, where are you located? I'm relatively new to this forum, so I'm sure this question has been asked before. So, Graham, your politeness allows any question to be asked. Has been asked before, but here goes. What do you consider to be the funniest episode, and which scene in that one is your favorite? Okay, the way you spelled favorite, Favourite, is a tell that you are not from this part of the woods, meaning the United States. The thing about the funniest episode, I would say, I'm not dodging the question. It's just if you're in a different mood at different times, that's what strikes you as the funniest. So I know by fan ratings, there's the top 10 episodes, which is baggage episode. She's the one, which is the fly eating one. Deborah makes something good. Pat's Secret is a hysterical, the second to last episode, hysterical episode, one of the funniest episodes, written by Tucker Cawley, I believe. So there's so many. I don't, in other words, it doesn't pop into my head like, oh, this one, without a doubt, is the absolute funniest. So, because it depends on the mood. And also, the one thing about Everett Raymond that, like, Friends doesn't necessarily have, Seinfeld does have it, which is Everett Raymond applies to you at different stages of your life. So you could be a little kid and like Everett Raymond, you could be a young parent and like Everett, you could be a dating person like Robert, and you could be an older person like Marie and Peter Boyle, Marie and Frank, and then relate to it. So you look at it differently depending on the stages you are in life versus Friends, which has, I don't know that there's a lot of 60-year-olds watching Friends. And I wish we had made as much money as Friends. So there you go. That's a very funny show. But I think it more, a lot, what do I want to say? A more narrow demographic. That's how they would put it in these terms. Wow, so many questions. Carol, who writes the episode summary we see on the TV screen guide? There is always an episode where Ray is said to meet Doug at Dr. Becker's office. I think Dr. Becker was a CBS show with Ted Danson, and they are most definitely not there. Yes, Carol, you found the mistake, in other words. I have no clue. My guess would be somebody at CBS would be writing them. That would make the most sense. That somebody at CBS internally would write them. I know that there was no time when, I'm adjusting my mic a little here. There was no time when we, the writers, were asked to write summaries of episodes. So I know that it probably was not us who wrote that, but that's funny. That's, yes, definitely not at Dr. Becker's. I wonder, you guys would know, was there a crossover with Dr. Becker's? Okay, let me see. Now I can scroll. Let me just scroll. Okay, I'm going to lose the camera. I'm going to start reading. Do you have anyone helping you with digitizing photos or other 360 support? It's a lot to back up and maintain. Yes, that is a great question. You just scroll down to see everybody's comments. No, effectively, when I say nobody's helping me, I sit there with my Nikon camera, I load the negative, I shoot it in, I convert it. It's a very slow process. The digitization of the videos, here, let me give you guys a little bit inside secret. Because it's now, the advancement of artificial intelligence allows me to take the video that has been brought to a professional lab, they give it to me as a QuickTime movie on a little disc, and then I put it into a program called Adobe Premiere and hit text transcribe, and it writes down every single word that's said in this 1 hour or 20-minute, whatever length is, and then that text comes up on the left-hand side, and I can search for the word Norm Macdonald, and it'll take me right to that clip. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, certainly 20 years ago, what would happen is you would have somebody, some schmuck who might look just like me, sitting there watching the video. Stop, type in Norm Macdonald, type in this, and then those are markers with search terms. So luckily, because of the advancement of technology, I am going to be able to, at least without even watching the tapes, do a search word and be like, let me see if we mention Max Rosenthal. Let me see if we mention anybody else. Okay. I'm tipping on my glasses so I can read the tiny, tiny print. Yes. Okay. I see this now. All right. Caught up on Instagram. Okay. Let's go back to the main StreamYard. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Henry. Wow. We're just going to have questions all day. This is very good. I'm not opposed to questions all day. Now, eventually, I know I've mentioned the podcast, doing it as an official podcast, and that is coming, but probably we'll do a more linear show of talking about every episode of Everly Raymond. And then these will be the bonus episodes in the podcast of me just talking to friends and answering all their questions. Question today was Marie and Frank moving to the community, so they call it, as they call it, based on real life. It seemed like it. And second question for everybody, if you could watch an episode for the first time, what would it be? Excellent question, Henry. I think, no, I think, did Phil write the moving out episode? Everybody help me out here. I think Phil wrote it. That's me thinking. That's my thinking face. Phil's thought for moving out episode was, how do we get a very funny episode where Robert's life becomes even worse than it was before? So his life has to go great and then right in the dumper again. So The moving out was perfect because when they moved back in and took back the house, now his life was hell. And so that was kind of the thing. I don't know anybody who had their parents, any personal experience with that. I know Phil's parent, everybody of relevance. Sorry, when I say relevance, Phil's parents, Ray's real life parents, the parents of most of the writers, none of them were in, had gone to a home at that point in any way, nor do I think they ever did within reason, barring any big illnesses. Hi from North Little Rock, Arkansas. One of my favorite episodes is when the guys write the wedding invitations. Yes, John, a great example. Hi, John. Welcome from Little Rock, Arkansas. Yes, a brilliant thing of writing the reputations and screwing it up. Now, getting back to which episode would I want to watch for the first time? Probably the fly eating or the wallpaper episode where the car comes to the wall. Oh, that's what I also found, everybody. The tape is labeled audience reaction to car. Audience reaction to car. So it's a video of the audience watching. They had no clue that a car was about to, in real life, plow through the set on stage 5. So that we have to, it's so exciting, guys. I'm nervous. I cannot wait till have them digitized. And this is knock on wood. The traditional knock on a stroopwafel container. With those recent fires in California, the amount of content that was lost, much more significant than my archives. I know there was a classical composer, but tons of, Billy Crystal, so many guys, so many women with crazy, history at their houses just gone. And so it really made me nervous as the fires came close to my house. So I'm very excited to be doing that. The videotapes are going to be much easier than the 30,000 photos. Okay, strolling down. Wow, so many comments. And again, the camera's up here and I have to look at comments down here. Maybe Donna Stantz can help on the background setting. Yes, I should ask her. Hi, Tom from Little Rock. Yes, okay, good. Hi, yes, Gil. Manuka honey has healing properties, so I've read. I was coughing for weeks during the pandemic. Manuka definitely helped. Yes, Gil, it's the first time I heard of Manuka honey. I remember you commenting on it. And the one thing I do remember is it cost $1 million. Now, that's not accurate. That's not 100% accurate, but I remember going, wow, wherever these Manukas are from, it's either far away or they're very, very rare. Okay, let me go on my, try and stay on the microphone. Okay, scrolling down. I say Henry gets the award for the funniest participant. Linda, this is not a comedy ground. This is not a comedy proving ground. I think Henry should be penalized for being funnier than me. Okay, Annabelle. See, Annabelle, I can trust. I know no matter what I click, Annabelle is not going to say something terrible. The first time I went live was the height of the pandemic, and the amount of vile and disgusting comments that were written was about, if I have a tickle in my throat or I'm coughing, I have a teaspoon of honey and it takes care of it. Yes, Annabelle, this is now a proven thing. Hi, Lynn. Lynn, what do you want me to say? Lynn, you are late. We need a note from your doctor, your teacher, your hall monitor, somebody. Okay, Paula. Period informative map is a great idea. I'd love to see that. Okay, Paula, we need to put the towns, right? So let's start that. I will start that. Janet, you never saw a minute of Friends. Well, aren't you curious to see a minute of it? That now there is bragging rights. Now that, let's say you're out of your 20s, you can say, I've never seen a minute of Friends. It's interesting. It would be interesting to go back and watch. We could watch it together. All right, let me scroll to the bottom here. Whew, so many comments, and I don't want to miss any because I really appreciate you guys taking the time to write it. Okay, Annabelle again. At one of the episodes I attended, a woman who sat next to me, she said she wrote the descriptions of the episodes for the network. So it must be the network in charge of who writes them and approves them. Yeah, so Annabelle, at that time, it was probably mostly on CBS. Do you remember what that woman looked like who sat next to you? Because there are a couple women that I would know. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. The toupee is staying on, which is always good. Okay. That's Annabelle. That's great. That is great. Okay. The different shapes of your lives. Yes, because at different stages of your lives, it is family. Yes. Also, since you brought it up, the pediatrician's office, when Ray brought the wrong kid and he tried to do an interview there, was hysterical. Ellen. Yes, Deborah Sick was that episode. Season 1, Terry Bradshaw. I have some pictures of that filming. Terry Bradshaw, for those of you not in the country, was a big football hero, still around, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. It would have been great if you had Betty White on the show as a special guest. Now, Deb Tucker Frank. Yes, well, Betty White is about as iconic as you can get. And so to get Betty White would have been a big thing. Now, I did go to if you look up Actors for Animals, I went to a charity event that she was hosting, and she was great. I wish I could have had Betty White on there. Stars like Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah. So, Ellen, you clearly know the show very well. We're thinking about that. It was great when you had first 6 years with stars like Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, and other great comedians discussing the show. So, Ellen, we are hoping to do a reunion show like the Friends reunion show. And that is a thought, to have more celebrities talking about it. I don't know if people enjoyed it as much as you did, though, because we also mixed it in with just John Q. Public. Might you have the casting director on someday? Yes, I've had her on. Lisa Miller Katz has been on. I just started watching such magnificent choices. Yes, Janet, you are forgiven for not having watched it. Now, let me just tell you guys, let's get a little inside baseball again. All of my original Instagram ones, there's troubles with some of them in downloading them. So they all exist, but you're not forensic scientists where you go, let's comb, I have nothing to do in my life. Let me comb through Tom's archives and see if I can get the Lisa Miller Katz episode from 3 years ago. So the idea is to download them, upload clips on YouTube, and make it so it's more easily searchable, accessible, etc. So yes, Janet, thank you for following, and you are forgiven for not having missed her. The episodes where Deborah's parents were hilarious. Deborah's mom on ELR was hilarious when she starred in Soap. Yes, absolutely. Phenomenal. She was phenomenal. Okay, let me scroll. Wow, there's just too many, at the beginning when Leo from Toronto, or Paula or Gil, when I had done this like the 4th time, it was like, well, how many questions can you answer about Everose Raymond? And now we are seeing that it is an endless stream. I've seen Manuka honey at Costco, but it was pretty big vat of it. Wow, Paula, come on. That sounds like you need a mortgage to get that. I'm not sure how pricey it was. Might be worth looking at, though. Paula, take a picture next time and please share it. The beauty of this community is we have power in numbers. And if that means you having to be kicked out of Costco forever for taking pictures, it's worth the risk. But I'm curious, because I've never seen Manuka honey in anything bigger than like a little teeny thing, because who can afford it? Yes, Deborah's sick. Okay, get back to Gil. Gil, Manuka is expensive for the good stuff, but cough medicine isn't cheap either. And it didn't work for me. The cough medicine didn't work for you. My brothers paid for the Manuka, so it was fine. Yes. Gil, if your brother's willing to pay for my Manuka, I'm going to send you my shipping address. And also, yes, what is the price of your health? Really, seriously, think about that, everybody. Is it worth the Manuka honey? It's just that we're used to getting honey for a reasonable price. So now, I've done a lot of plays, and we gargle with blackberry brandy. Swallow it if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it in a play type setting. Maria, okay, sorry, I have to get through those to digest the comedy. Blackberry brandy, interesting. I mean, my guess is there's more drinkers of that than just, but for medicinal purposes, that makes sense. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but during Prohibition, it was in the United States. It was, when was it? I don't know, 1931 to something, or 32. I'm completely off on those dates, but a lot of manufacturers of alcohol were able to stay in business for making medicinal alcohol for medicinal consumption. That would be interesting to post a couple of those bottles. Okay. I've enjoyed those 2 episodes and hope the reunion will follow that format. Maureen, yes, it will be something like that. Hi, Maxine. Art Shamsky is signing books in Ridgewood, New Jersey. I just might have to go and represent ELR. Yeah, don't go on our behalf. But yes, Art Shamsky was in the Big Shots episode, which for some reason, for people who are fans of the '69 Mets, New York Mets, everybody is a baseball team, for those of you not in the country, and they're beloved because they went from last place to winning the World Series in 1 year. Okay. I loved Soap. Yes, very good. Hi, Ellen. I know the show so well and always getting lines there. There are just so many excellent, hilarious episodes. Ellen, welcome then. Yes, we like those people, who like them. Always wondered if you cast Georgia Engel because of similarity to Monica and her ability to George's voice, or was it just luck? So Kathy Pine, that is a question for Phil. Monica Horan Rosenthal, Phil's real life wife, has a real life mother who sounds like Georgia Engel. But I believe Phil Rosenthal just loves Georgia Engel and loved the work she did on Mary Tyler Moore, etc. I don't know what, we'll have to ask him next time he's on. By the way, Phil is in Europe. He was just at the home of the Stroopwafel. Watch your thing. I'll post it again. Phil Rosenthal has a show on, Phil Rosenthal was the showrunner of Ever's Raymond. He has a show on Netflix called Somebody Feed Phil. He's in Europe now. He's going to Oslo. He might be there tonight or tomorrow night, Norway. And then he's in the UK for quite a while. And maybe some other places. Okay, a little more tea. Hold on. Ellen, I feel bad because we have all of our Raymond. Great teas. Okay, Annabelle, the woman who wrote the description was November of 2005 at a date for Peter. It was in reserved seating area. I do not recall exactly what she looked like, but I think brown hair, shoulder length. Okay, Annabelle, this is an excellent clue. Let me take a screen grab there. Because I can now look for a date for Peter. There were a couple of women that worked on I'll narrow that down, but thank you, because I can look in the audience too afterwards, as we know. Okay, Paul. Patricia was also pregnant on Ever's Raymond. It was hilarious the way the writers on the show had to hide her pregnant belly. I do remember the writers took the opportunity and used her real pregnancy on flashback episode when Deborah was pregnant with the twins. It was brilliant. Yes, that was an episode written by Ray Romano and yours truly, called Why Are We Here?, where we learn why they are living across the street from Ray's parents. Let's see. Who wrote the last episodes? So it was a group effort on the finale. When you say last episodes, there were a lot of episodes there. So all of the writers pitched in. So here we go. Yes. Yes. Okay. This is great. Sorry, for those of you just listening, not watching, I'm just looking at comments that are coming through to me and bringing them up or not bringing them down. Lots of cookies and biscuits in Rome. The food is amazing. Yes. Gil, take some pictures of some Italian cookies. Now, the thing with Italian cookies that I've noticed versus a lot of these other sources like the UK, etc., I don't know that many packaged Italian cookies because they have so many pasticceria. I don't know what the plural is. Okay, folks, what time is it? Sweet goodness. Okay, for those of you that don't know, Jeremy Stevens, who I still have to post a lot of pictures of, Jeremy Stevens, who was one of our writers on Raymond, who's no longer with us, he started a thing where he said the Hydrox cookie was better than the Oreo cookie. Hydrox is very similar to Oreo, and I think was bigger than Oreos at one time. So we had a cookie eating contest in the writer's room, anything to avoid writing. The conclusion was that they're not the Hydrox are not more delicious than the Oreos. Sorry. Yeah, see, this is where my higher multitasking is really screwing. Okay, there is the lid. Let's see. We'll tape on it. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of direct sunlight, so that's stopping us. Here's another thing. Yeah, it's really having trouble compensating people. It's just too bright. Okay, packaged nicely. Here we go. Here's the group of Stroop waffles. Okay, I don't have a lot of real estate on my desk here. Put that on a chair. Do that. Okay. By the way, we didn't even talk about Deborah at the Lodge, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit. Okay, let's try a Stroop waffle. Here we go. You're getting all the sounds. This is called... Okay. There. Okay, that does better with the sunlight. Here's a Stroop waffle. Wafer thin. I believe there's a Monty Python thing for that. So wafer thin, let me put this here. So I think this is going to be kind of messy. So there you go. Wafer thin, waffle type feeling. Okay. So I have to work on the right ratio of chewing, looking, thinking, and talking. It's a delicate balance between me being able to digest the flavor. Okay, hold on. I have to chew. Forgive me for a second, folks. Here we go. Delicious, soft. It's not crisp. It's gooey. Okay. It's, when I say gooey, it's not there. It's bending. It's not breaking. For those of you who have had a hobnob, it's not a hobnob. Does this, oh, this has a vanilla. This has a vanilla interior. Very tasty, not crisp. I'm not saying, what I'm saying is not hard and it cracks like a cracker. Once again, super good. I'm going to give this a 7.3. I don't have all the other references. 7.3 is pretty high. Okay. Stroop waffle. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, from Amsterdam. Really good. And again, you know, I have to use my brain a little bit because if you're going to try and, for those who don't know, you know, if I'm going to try a, not a flavorless, what am I trying to say? A chocolate covered something. Let's just throw out there, Tim Tam or something, and compare it against a, you know, a lemon up thing. It's almost unfair. Okay, here we go. Look at this. There you go, folks. You can see the gooey. That's why I say gooey in a good way. What's a better word than gooey? Because that sounds like something when you step in gum in a hot parking lot. It feels gooey. See, if I was, okay, I'm going to eat this more. So the vanilla, that tells me they must have chocolate, because let's face it, folks, chocolate. Let me see if I can kill, can I shield this? There you go. Whoops. Almost knocked out my, all right. What did I give it? I don't even remember now. A 7.3. I don't have a hot liquid to cover it, by the way. I only have old tea. I would call it room temperature tea. All right, let's wrap this up for today. So many great questions. Holy moly. Annabelle, I love gooey chewy. Chewy, again, can go either way. You don't want your steak to be too chewy. Stroop waffle, have a lot going for them. Fun name, pretty yummy, gooey, and if you decide you don't like them or are too full, you can throw them like a Frisbee. Okay, Annabelle. Here's the thing. I think we made it clear about Henry. Please do not be funnier than me, if at all possible. These are the rules. Excellent, excellent, Annabelle. Gold star, double thumbs up. Um, Thank you, Lynn. Let me take a screen grab of that. I have to start a spreadsheet. Everything is work, spreadsheet, etc. Lynn, okay, 7.3. Yeah, I have to really start opening up to a lot of different things. Okay, let's go back. I did want to talk a little bit about Deborah at the Lodge. I posted these pictures. Let me just look. Let me just catch up on Instagram. Here, let me put it up by the camera. The one where TV's Deborah on the fridge. Yes. Deborah got, sorry, I'm lifting up because this is the teeniest writing you've ever seen. You were supposed to put them on your hot drink. Yes, I don't have a hot drink. Pam, now Pam sounds like she's from New Jersey because she said that's a big ass bite. You are correct. Okay, Deborah at the Lodge. Let me see. I don't want to look at these to get how much say did each cast member have on their characters' trajectories and their personalities? I accidentally got out of the live stream. I'm not sure if my comment got deleted. Okay. Hi, Paigey Powell. I love the episode AIS. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to catch up. I will come back to that one. Stuck for an object twice. Yes. Funniest episode in my opinion, the one where Ray tries to put Deborah on the fridge. Yes, that's the home. Okay. So, how much say do the actors have in their trajectory? So I would say Phil Rosenthal and Ray, very open people, very open to any suggestions. They really didn't have a lot of say per se. It really was their, they don't know where it's going because they're not in the writer's room. And, Phil every once in a while would have to talk to the writers and say, the actors, and be like, hey, this is what we're doing, etc. Like, we're going to write an episode where you guys aren't talking. But for the most part, the actors don't, and I know people feel defensive of the actors because they're so brilliant, but the writing is the writing and the acting is the acting. So if we made Robert's character, so here, I'll say this, nobody cared about the show more than Phil and Ray. So they're not going to do anything to hurt the show. I've mentioned this before. One of the debates that we had was Ray and I wanted Robert to stay single and tell more dating stories. I was single. I had a lot of dating stories. Phil wanted to have Robert married because he's like, how many single stories can we tell? And we were like, well, Friends is doing okay, so probably a lot. Everything in life has an opportunity cost. I think it's an economics term. By you going to the movies, you're not staying home reading. By you going out with this person, you're not going out with that person. It's the law of finite resources. So would we have gotten more stories of Robert being single? Yes. Would we have gotten as many stories as we did of Robert marrying Amy? Probably not. Hard to say. And we'll never know. Some of the funniest episodes are Robert single and dating. I now personally think it made sense for Robert to get married because you wanted him to be happy. So did you miss another of the fly eating type of caliber? Maybe. Or maybe you're sitting there going, how long can this guy date, etc. So the trajectory. So if Ray, I bring that up because if Phil was like, you know what, I think I want Robert to be really mean spirited or something like that. Could the actor can always say anything, but you also have to remember that this is a show where the actors are winning Emmys, right? I think Patty won 2, Brad won 3, I think Doris won 4, the show won twice, writing won. There's a lot of Emmys coming down the pike. So I know, and here, I'll leave you with this type of morsel. Phil Rosenthal worked on a show called Baby Talk with a guy named, who was struggling a little bit, named George Clooney. George Clooney did not enjoy the show, and we can ask Phil for more details, but complained a lot. And they wrote him out of the series. And I think I've mentioned this before. The showrunner said, screw him, let him do pilots for the rest of his life because he's an unknown guy and what could happen? Well, it turned out George Clooney became an enormous star, one of the biggest stars in history. Um, so he did okay, but he would complain about his part on a show that he didn't think was probably great. So that's more the situation where you're going to have that. And the little thing I said is I found us filming with George Clooney, and that's in the tape. We filmed with him twice, for once for a gag reel, once for a thing. So that's like one of the gems. Like I can't wait to show you guys all of this footage. So let me check final comments here before we say goodbye after the Stroopwafel. Okay, let's see now here. Frank, don't make me go higher. Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry. Deborah at the Lodge. I posted a couple pictures there. Patricia Heaton, phenomenal singer, which we found out. I'm scrolling through my photos, folks. That's what I'm looking for to share with you what I shared. So there, here. This is going to be tough. Yeah, that's all reflection. Okay, this isn't even going to work. There's Ray's father, Phil's father. Yeah, it's getting hit by too much light. You know, I'm holding up pictures of Deborah at the Lodge. You see a light source. It's almost impossible. There's Patty leaning in. That is Phil's father. That is Ray's father. And they do look like him. Is that not correct? Would you not say? And then Patty, from you're looking at her hair before she enters the scene. That's from Deborah at the Lodge. And then I posted a picture of, oh, I know what I can do. I posted a picture of Monica and Anna Romano, and Monica's wearing that shirt from the first scene in this. Okay, let me go back through. Hi, Mona. Thanks, Tom, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful week. Yes, thank you, Mona. Thank you for all your help. Frank, don't make me go higher. Yes, funny enough to read it twice. On Frasier, Kelsey Grammer was single forever. Yes, excellent point. Okay, Henry, here we go. If I'm getting points deducted and I want them deducted off my license, very funny. Those inanimate objects just pop out of nowhere. They make a lower sugar version of Stroopwafel called Rip Van Waffle. Is that true? For those who are interested, be careful. I ate one of those and woke up like 20 years later. Okay. And I like faux pas. It was like everybody's mouths were falling down upstairs. Yeah, that's a great quote. The faux pas is the thing. Excellent points, Henry, for being funny. Yes. Is that true, though, about the Stroopwafel? I think we can kid around about anything but cookies. The sitcoms where Amy and Robert and Amy's parents were really funny. Absolutely, Meredith. That's what I mean. I don't know that we can have it. This was fun today. Thanks, Tom. Have a great week. Yes, Paula, you are welcome. I really appreciate you guys staying here for so long. I love when Max says, I only wanted to learn the computer. Yeah. By the way, a very funny episode. And I don't know if you could do it nowadays. People are, where Ray is leaving in the tag and the girls are checking him out because some people are uptight about everything. Leo from the pilot didn't test well, I don't think. So that's what I heard. And he didn't come back because he didn't test well. And the network, at that point, the show was an unknown. So if you didn't test well, you were gone. Do you have in your archives Patty and Steve Scrovan singing? Yes, Karen. For those who don't know what Karen is talking about, Steve Scrovan and Patty Heaton would do a bit up front. Steve Scrovan would. He would play a shy writer who's trying to sing, and then it turns out he really can sing, and then he belts out a song, and then he and Patty trade songs. Yes, I found it. So this is I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I played it back on one of my machines, and it was very. The word is. Sorry, I'm searching between a couple of words for those experts out there who go, I don't think that's the term, but pixelated or digitized, and the sound is skipping, etc. So I'm hopeful that when I bring it to the professional place, it transfers perfectly. So yes, Karen, thank you for reminding me. I did find a gem of that, and keep in mind, I have not watched 99% of these videos yet, but that is on there. Ray looks like his dad. Yes. It's funny when people ask, which one is Ray's father? I'm like, the one that looks exactly like Ray. Thank you, Susan Stampanato. I hope your refrigerator magnet with the fork and spoon is holding up well. I had one here. I don't know where it is. Yes, they definitely, his dad. Yes, let me final ones. Max, she does look very nice leaving. Yes. To Terry Bradshaw. Yes. Oreos rule. Yes. That's very good. Who's saying that? Yes, Maureen, thank you for that. I totally forgot about that line. Yes, I love that. Hi, Kim. Let's see. What is Kim? Thanks, Tom. Have a great, yes. See you next Sunday, everybody. Where are we on time? Holy moly. You love your big fork and spoon. That is great to hear, Susan. Trust me, I have the prototype for 3 years on my refrigerator. And no matter how much I snack, no matter what time of day,